What's up, everybody? Ninth Jim here, back with another VGC 2020 Pokemon Sword and Shield competitive video. Today we are talking about Flareon, one of the weakest links of the Eon, the evolutions, and unfortunately, it got that unfortunate title because of its kind of lower stats across the board, except for like special defense and attack. Those are really good. They're both really solid stats, and they can be really powerful. This Pokemon can be really powerful with the correct investments, with a good move pool, and a good team. And I don't know if this is the correct stats. Nobody's used it in VGC 2020 yet, so I don't have anything to base this off of, and I've never used Flareon. I just think that we're going the more defensive route. This Pokemon is really defensive, and it has access to moves like Substitute, Helping Hand, so you kind of just like sit behind your sub, Flare Blitz when you need to, and Helping Hand, and hope to just not die, and it's pretty good. And it walls out every resisted hit. If it's special, you take 0 damage. Not actually 0 damage, but you take a very small amount of damage, which is good because it has so many resistances. Not an amazing defensive typing because Water, Ground, Rock are all three so prevalent in the meta that's pretty unfortunate. And we could definitely use some kind of berry, like we could use Charty Berry, we could use the Ground Berry or Water Berry, but we're just going with a Guava Berry just to stay afloat a little bit. So yeah, that's a little bit of an overview. We'll go ahead and jump into it. Fire typing. So we resist fire, grass, ice, bug, steel, fairy, and we super resist fire because of our ability Flash Fire. You can use the hidden ability Guts and then use something like Toxic Orb or something, but we're going with Flash Fire. I think that's really cool, and being able to come in, be immune to fire damage, and then get your 1.5 times damage on your Flare Blitz. I think that's a really useful thing. We can also switch that in on things like Durant when your opponent's gonna Heat Wave you or Flamethrower you or Flamethrower you or Flare Blitz you, and you can just like soak up a lot of damage with that, which is really good. Instead of taking like probably an Oko to the face with Durant, you can just switch into Flareon. We see this every now and again with Chandelure. I still think Chandelure is probably better. It has more utility. It has Trick Room and Prison. You know, its whole thing is not just, it's pretty bulky, you know, which Flareon is. So I think Chandelure will probably still stay in that spot. However, I do think Flareon is a viable option for that, and I think that's pretty cool. Weaknesses, Water, Ground, Rock, that kind of sucks, but it really sucks. They're all three very prevalent in the meta, so that's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Anyway, into our stats. Our stats are pretty solid across the board. A lot of them are pretty low. Defense, HP, and speed are all pretty low, and that's unfortunate. So there are Pokemon that are just kind of better than Flareon, that do what Flareon does but better. Things like Arcanine and Incineroar having really good, strong fire stab moves, as well as being bulky and having good support attacks. This Pokemon has Helping Hand, which is really good, and I value that a lot. We also have Substitute, so we can sit on the field for a while and put up some Helping Hands, let our sub take a lot of damage. And then set up some Helping Hands and do a lot of damage with Flare Blitz. However, it's really slow, and it's not insanely bulky except for the special defense side. So we have 65 HP and 60 defense, which are both pretty low, to be honest, like pretty low. We just have max HP in defense, so we're just trying to bulk up on those two because our special defense is already very solid. 110 special defense is really good. We have pretty similar to this as far as Arcanine goes. At the beginning of the meta, a lot of Arcanines were using max special defense just to live for a while, and now now that we have Incineroar, we're kind of taking over taking over Arcanine with Incineroar, and Flareon is kind of the little brother to Arcanine. So Incineroar usually will be like a no-brainer over top of something like Flareon, but Flareon's cool. We like Flareon, so it's pretty cool. And then for our attack, we have 130, which is very solid. Special attack at 95 is like way too high. We wish it would be like in our speed and defense stats, but you can't change stats. And 110 special defense is amazing, and then 65 speed is very low. And not like very low. We have speed tiers, and we definitely outspeed some like relevant Pokemon, but most relevant Pokemon will be outspeeding us, which is unfortunate, except like Trick Room Pokemon, but then they will after Trick Room, so yeah. So yeah, that's our overview. We'll go ahead and talk about the build here. Almost 5 minutes in. Very, very long overview, and sorry about that. But I'll make the rest of this video quicker. So, Flareon, we're using the ability Flash Fire. I think Flash Fire is very good for this Pokemon. Being able to switch it in on fire, completely fine. Take a not terrible attack, and then hit a Flare Blitz, very, very high damage at 1.5 times multiplier. Plus your stab, you're doing a lot of damage with Flare Blitz, especially after that Flash Fire, so that's cool. And then, like I said, it adds a lot of utility in with Pokemon like Durant and just other Pokemon that are very susceptible to fire. You can switch this Pokemon in, and you're in a good position. You're in a good spot. So, other than that, we also have item a Guava Berry. You could definitely switch this out for Citrus Berry, or maybe something else. I'm not sure. If you have a good item that you use on this Pokemon, definitely put that down in the comments. In my single spotlight, I have Choice Band, and we're just doing a lot of damage physically with that build, but that's not what we're playing in our VGC build. So yeah, a Guava Berry is probably the best, but maybe Citrus. So into our moves, we have Substitute, like I was talking, Substitute Protect, just to live for a little while and keep our boy alive and just on the field and being a prevalent threat. We also have Flare Blitz and Helping Hand. You can definitely switch some of these moves out for our flex moves, things like Will-O-Wisp, Yawn, and Wish. Wish giving us pretty good healing, like reliable recovery, decently reliable recovery. We have Yawn to just sleep guys and make this Pokemon very, very annoying. And we also have Will-O-Wisp to keep minimize physical damage, which is something I value a lot on this Pokemon. I think Will-O-Wisp could definitely land on the final set. However, we have Flare Blitz for damage, Helping Hand for damage, and Substitute and Protect. I really like Helping Hand. Since we're so slow, being able to do something on the turn you're about to die is very, very good in my opinion. I think a lot of the time people are gonna ignore this Pokemon, so you can set up a sub, and then they're like, okay, I should probably attack, and then you can get off like a Flare Blitz or a Helping Hand, and the next turn when you're gonna die again, you can go for another Helping Hand. And if they just ignore it over and over, it's going to be like kind of how the Sableye effect is, where if they just ignore it, you just take Helping Hand knockouts left and right, and then quash things where it's annoying. Instead of quash, we just go for Flare Blitz and just like kill certain things. It's not like it's a completely different move. It's not like the same move, but that's just our other option. And then we have just Protected for like to last longer. So, yeah, that's the move pool. I think it's pretty solid, actually. It's really shallow. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's a very, very shallow move pool. However, the options that we do have are actually pretty good. Into our investments. So, our investments are probably going to change if I play this Pokemon some more, or just play it some in general. I would like to play this Pokemon some, but yeah, it's a very rough like draft. It's just very basic. HP 252 and then defense 252. We just want to live as much like physical attacks as we can. In singles, if we played this Pokemon as a wall, like a bulky Pokemon, we would probably just go all into special defense and then just switch it in on the correct time, and then Will-O-Wisp, Yawn, Wish, Pokemon like or attacks like that just to really annoy my opponent, and that would probably be that. But for this, we're going with a more balanced build, just HP and defense, and I think that's a really good option. And then for our nature, we have Impish, just to give us more defense, and my special attack since we don't have any. Into our synergies real quick. So Milotic just covers all of our weaknesses really well, and it can be there annoying Pokemon. We're very, very bulky physically, and then Flareon is very, very bulky defensively and fairly bulky physically as well. And just setting up some Hypnosises, and then Helping Hand, Muddy Water after a couple of coils, hitting 100% after you add accuracy with coil, and then Helping Hand, Muddy Water can just deal a lot of damage. I think that's a really good option as well. And then we also have Durant, like I was saying, you can switch this in for Flash Fire and absorb like a fire type attack, and then bring back in Durant when it's optimal. And then we also have Gyarados covering a lot of our weaknesses. Immunity to ground is very good. It still has that rock weakness, but not to water, so it could be a suitable teammate. It also covers a lot of our it also deals very super effective damage to ground, rock, and it has max overgrowth / power whip for water, so it kind of deals with all of our weaknesses as well. So that's going to be it for this slide. We're going to go ahead and talk about speed tiers. I'm very far into this video, so we're going to make this part pretty brief. Oops. But you know, this part's like just pretty brief in general. So here we are at 85. We're on the same speed tier as Gothitelle and Umbreon. You'll see Gothitelle on this speed tier a lot. You'll see it a little bit lower. You'll see Gothitelle being min speed. So I'll just speed Gothitelle probably around 50% of the time. Umbreon will usually be without speed investments, it'll usually be pretty bulky. So we'll probably be on the same speed tier as Umbreon a lot of the time as well. Tyranitar we outspeed uninvested if it's invested into speed at all, really at all. Like if it has much investment, it'll be outspeeding us, which is really a problem because Rock Slide does a lot of damage. Things that we outspeed other than that is Sylveon, Lapras, Jellicent, Grimmsnarl, all on that 80 tier. None of those are too worrisome. Jellicent's a little worrisome, but like we're very specially bulky, so we can take a Water Spout pretty head on, pretty easily. Grimmsnarl is like kind of annoying, but most of its attacks are priority anyway, so whatever. And then Scrafty, we're outspeeding. That's fine. Like Scrafty doesn't really threaten us too much, and we don't really threaten Scrafty too much, so that's like fine. Mimikyu will always be outspeeding us. That also doesn't threaten us too much. And then Togekiss will always be outspeeding us, which doesn't threaten us too much. Like, it doesn't threaten any super effective damage. However, with a fake tiers, Max Airstream could do a good bit, but probably won't threaten any Okos, so that's good. So yeah, that's it for our speed tiers. Now we'll talk about our damage calcs real quick. So first off, we have Gyarados Waterfall into our max defense Flareon, hitting 76 to 90% damage, guaranteed 2-hit KO. However, if it maxes and goes for a max Geyser, it's going to be knocking us out every time, OHKOing us, which is very annoying. Excadrill is going to be OHKOing us with high horsepower, max invested. If it's Adamant, it has a guaranteed OHKO with high horsepower. And if it's Jolly, it has a 68.8% chance to OHKO, so it's probably going to OHKO us. And if it maxes, it has a 100% chance to OHKO us as well with a max Quake, so that's annoying as well. However, Flare Blitz does OHKO Excadrill with a guaranteed OHKO, so you could run Sash. However, half of this Pokemon's like thing is that it's like pretty bulky, so we could run Sash and then take away all of our defense and then put it into something else, like either attack or into our special defense. It'd be very specially bulky, so that's another option. I don't know, I feel like being defensive is really solid, and physically defensive, I feel like I value that a lot, but I'm not sure. Like I said, I have to playtest this Pokemon some before I know like the perfect spread, so we may revisit this in the future. But for now, this is just a pretty rough build. Gastrodon, or wait, were we talking about Tyranitar? Yeah, 252 attack Tyranitar Rock Slide into our Flareon, max defense, threatens a guaranteed 2-hit KO with Sandstorm damage. That's pretty solid, and like with the Sandstorm damage and Rock Slide, it doesn't knock us into our Guave Berry. So that's pretty annoying as well. Maybe Citrus is the way, I'm not sure. And then Max Rockfall guaranteed, Max Rockfall from the Tyrannosaurus guaranteed OHKO. If it's Weakness Policy proc, Rock Slide or Max Rockfall will guaranteed OHKO, as you would assume if the Max Rockfall OHKOs. So then we have 60 special attack Gastrodon Scald into our Flareon, doing 97.3% chance to 2-hit KO. It has 48 to 59% damage. This is pretty solid. This is pretty similar to Earth Power, so if it used Earth Power as well, and it can't threaten the burn, so it'll be Scald or Earth Power. It doesn't really matter. If we're in Sunny Day, it'll obviously be Earth Power though, which could happen for this Pokemon. If you max it, this could be a good Pokemon to max theoretically, because it's very bulky and it doesn't do. It would threaten a lot of damage with Flare Blitz, max Flare, so that's really good. So yeah, that's another option as well. And then Flare Blitz into Venusaur. Venusaur is a very big looming threat now in VGC. I think that Pokemon's actually really, really good. And I wouldn't even call it a sleeper mon, because I think a lot of people know that it's very good. Chlorophyll is an amazing ability. So we're going to be seeing a lot of Venusaur in my opinion. 128 to 150% guaranteed OHKO with Flare Blitz. However, it does have Sleep Powder and it does have Earth Power. I don't think Earth Power threatens an OHKO because we're so specially bulky, but it may, actually. And I don't have my build. I accidentally hit back on the build, but we can just max 252 here. Venusaur. Oops. Venusaur, and then go for Earth Power. So I put 2 R's. Yeah, it doesn't threaten an OHKO. It only does 51 to 60% damage. So we're actually looking very solid against a Venusaur, which is good. So yeah, we should win that matchup a lot of the time. However, it can Sleep Powder us, which is really annoying. So maybe, you know, that might happen. Anyway, that's going to be it for our damage calcs. We'll go into our single spotlight real quick. I don't foresee this Pokemon being very prevalent in singles. It's just not amazing. There's definitely better options, and it's pretty low tier. But if we were playing it in singles, I'd be playing it Choice Band, Flash Fire, 4 good attacks: Flare Blitz, Superpower, Quick Attack, Body Slam. Not the best move pool. It has a very shallow move pool, so that makes this Pokemon unfortunate for Choice Band. However, Choice Band Quick Attack can finish off a lot of Pokemon. Choice Band Flare Blitz is huge, especially after a Flash Fire upgrade, like a Flash Fire 1.5 times multiplier. You can actually be dealing a lot of damage with this Pokemon, which is good. And then for our investments, we're just 252 plus into attack, being Adamant Nature, giving us plus attack minus special attack, and then 252 speed as well, just being as fast as possible and as strong as possible. Maybe we could go Timid for this instead of Adamant. I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to check our speed tiers and stuff. But yeah, I mean, if you have a different build for singles, then definitely like lay it on me in the comments. Tell me it up. And then same with if you play this Pokemon in VGC. If you play it differently, better, definitely tell me. So yeah, that's Flareon. I think Flareon's cool. I don't think it's really good in VGC or singles, and it's definitely not going to see a whole lot of play. However, it's pretty cool. I like Flareon. He's a cool dude. And not a cool dude. He's a hot dude. I take that back. I just meant because he's like a fire. Anyway, that's going to be it. Thanks so much for watching. And you have a good next 2 months. Thank you.